To me by a friend named of Doug Jones in La Jolla, Doug, who had a small art gallery, called me and said, I think this is an artist that has great potential. We certainly can't hold him, so I'm sending him up to you to see what you think. And I said, well, fine, because we got a lot of calls like that, and maybe 1 out of 100 works out. But Tom and Nanette came in carrying a few paintings and photographs of his work, and we could see immediately that he had the potential to be what I thought one of the great big-time landscape painters, which is, as I told him at the time, I think he could be a cross between Sidney Lawrence and Thomas Moran. He had that potential, and that's speaking, you know, those guys were tens.
So here's a guy, you know, who sees an unknown artist and already is being able to say, hey, you know, this is somebody that is going to go on to really big things. And you know what? In that business, you can't afford to say that about everybody.
I was really impressed by, particularly when Tom started working for galleries and working up stuff for his later one-man shows, that he really worked hard and worked long hours.
He was a competent artist with an open mind. So many of them are on such an ego trip that you can't discuss anything. But that wasn't the problem with him. When we first looked at those paintings, they stopped you. And I handled a lot of paintings. They have the presence of a great painting, and I almost didn't believe what I was saying because he was so young. He was 24 years old.
He continued to just press forward with that vision, painting the paintings, sending the paintings out, and waiting and praying that something would happen. And you know, eventually things began to open up.
We sold the paintings that he brought to us, and the next batch he brought were maybe 3 or 4 other paintings, but they'd improved tremendously just in the few suggestions we'd made. He knew what we were talking about and had the talent to carry it through. I admired Tom's landscapes, the mountain scenes that he'd done for us, mainly California Sierra scenes. And I said, Tom, is one of the great painters, landscape painters of North America was Sidney Lawrence, who painted the Alaska painter. I said, I think you ought to go to Alaska and get a feel of that wilderness. The Sierra Nevadas are one thing, British Columbia is another, but when you're in the wilderness in Alaska, it's just a different feeling. Said, I've got a friend, I'll send you up to Jim Harrower and spend some time with him on his lodge out in the Stony River, and 150, 200 miles from Anchorage, but right in the Alaska range, wonderful peaks on either side of this roaring river. And he agreed to do that.
This was a phenomenal experience for him. And he came back with such a rich wealth of ideas for paintings through that experience. And I think this is something that Tom's done his whole life, of adventuring and painting. It started, I mean, as a kid, he'd hike and sketch, and of course the trip that he and Jim Gurney took, where they went across country and painted and sketched across the United States. But this